Another noteworthy event that happened last week was the Day Without Immigrants strike that took place in cities nationwide, including Denver, where restaurants like one of my favorites, Osteria Marco on Larimer, closed down for the day in support of immigrants and their staff. According to the Denverite, not only did local businesses take part in the protest against Donald Trump's proposed policies and the stepped-up immigration enforcement happening around the country, Denver's schools also saw a dramatic decrease in student participation that day, with some teachers posting images of more than half-empty classrooms. Our sources have also confirmed that more protests like the one seen last Thursday are in the works. So what did you think about that? Did you see any of the...
Yeah, I saw the photos and some videos, and I think it was a great thing, and especially here on this campus, as such a big Latino and Hispanic center campus, I think it was a big deal for our...
Were your classes emptier than usual?
I think some.
Some?
For sure. Yeah, and I saw a really cool bit, I don't know if you saw it, from Kyle Clark talking about it on his show Next, and he said he received a lot of emails and a lot of phone calls saying, didn't affect my day, it didn't make a difference to me. And, then he came back and said, well, that's because not a lot of, Latinos and Hispanics actually walked out that day. A lot of them still went to school and still went to work, so yes, it might not have affected your day, but that's because the majority of, these people still worked that day.
Yeah, not everyone can afford to just go protest,
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Not everyone can just leave randomly for a day, even if it is for a cause like this. So I think, it's sad that people still are like, oh, no, it didn't affect me. I'm like, no, it still did.
Yeah.
You just can't see it.
Well, that's why I think I was so taken with, so we go to Osteria Marco quite often. Love their burrata, love their food, and it's been one of our local favorites since we moved here. And so I follow them just to see what the new specials are going to be, or if they're doing any events and things like that. And so I happened to see that pop up, that they were closing the restaurant, which I was that just warmed my heart, that they, as, they didn't keep the restaurant open and say, okay, if you're going to protest, that's fine, you lose out on a day's pay or anything. They closed the whole restaurant. And I know that other businesses did that as well. And I thought that really says a lot. It really says a lot about, not just what you're serving, but the kind of environment that you're creating.
And I think for an event like this, I think some people are like, oh, it's not going to work, it's not going to be that big, but like you've been saying, like we've said, it worked, there has been a big impact from it. So I think it's so cool to see these people coming together and everyone coming together to support this cause and to kind of stand up and protest against some policies.
Yeah, well, there's more protest plans, not just with immigration, with the increased raids that have been happening. But I know this weekend there'll be another one in Denver regarding healthcare.
Yeah. There have been a lot of protests lately, which I support, and I think it's funny because I've heard people say, oh, well, when Obama was president, the Republicans didn't protest, which just isn't true, because there were just as many protests, there were just as many things, so I think people need to start looking both ways.
Sure.
But